Aesop's Fable EP40, The Kind-Hearted Monkey and the Stranded Fish. Scene 1, The Curious Monkey. In a lush, green jungle where the trees stretched high into the sky and the rivers flowed with clear, sparkling water, there lived a playful monkey named Marco. Marco was known for his curiosity and his love of adventure. He would swing from tree to tree, exploring every corner of the jungle and making friends with all the animals he met. One warm afternoon, as Marco was swinging through the jungle, he heard a faint splashing sound coming from a nearby riverbank. Curious as ever, Marco decided to investigate. As he approached the river, he saw a small fish struggling in a fishing net that had been carelessly left behind by a fisherman. The fish was caught in the net, unable to free itself, and was slowly suffocating as it flapped helplessly on the riverbank. Marco's heart went out to the fish. He knew that without help, the fish wouldn't survive much longer. "I have to do something," Marco thought, his mind racing. He had never helped a fish before, but he was determined to do whatever he could to save it. Scene 2, The Rescue Attempt. Marco carefully approached the fish, trying not to startle it further. "Don't worry, little fish," Marco said gently. "I'm going to help you get back to the river." Using his nimble fingers, Marco began to untangle the net that was wrapped around the fish. It was a tricky task, as the net was tightly wound and the fish was still struggling. But Marco was patient and determined, working slowly and carefully to free the fish. As he worked, Marco talked to the fish, reassuring it that everything would be okay. "You'll be swimming in the river again soon," Marco said softly. "Just hold on a little longer." Finally, after what felt like a long time, Marco managed to free the fish from the last of the net. The fish lay still for a moment, exhausted from its ordeal, but Marco knew it needed to get back into the water quickly. Without wasting another second, Marco gently picked up the fish and carried it to the edge of the river. He lowered it into the cool water, watching as the fish's gills began to move more freely. Slowly, the fish started to regain its strength and began to swim in small circles. Scene 3, The Grateful Fish. As the fish swam around in the shallow water, it looked up at Marco with grateful eyes. "Thank you, Marco," the fish said in a weak but sincere voice. "You saved my life. I don't know what I would have done without your help." Marco smiled, feeling a warm glow of happiness inside. "I'm just glad I could help," Marco replied. "It's important to be kind and help others whenever we can." The fish nodded, still catching its breath. "You're right, Marco. Your kindness means the world to me. I'll never forget what you've done." Marco watched as the fish, now fully recovered, swam out into the deeper part of the river. The fish gave one last thankful splash with its tail before disappearing into the clear, cool water. Marco felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He knew that helping the fish had been the right thing to do, and he was glad that he had been able to make a difference in someone else's life, no matter how small that someone might be. Scene 4, The Ripple Effect. Word of Marco's good deed quickly spread throughout the jungle. The other animals were impressed by his kindness and willingness to help someone in need, even if it was a small and seemingly insignificant fish. Marco's actions inspired them to be more kind and helpful to one another. One day, as Marco was resting on a tree branch, a group of animals came to see him. There was a bird who had helped a turtle find its way back to the pond, a rabbit who had shared her food with a hungry squirrel, and even a deer who had guided a lost fawn back to its mother. "Marco," the bird began, "we've all been inspired by your kindness. You showed us that even small acts of kindness can make a big difference. We've all decided to follow your example and be more helpful to those around us. Marco felt a swell of pride in his chest. I'm so glad to hear that, he said, smiling at his friends. Kindness is something we can all share, and it makes our jungle a better place to live. The animals agreed, and from that day on, the jungle became a place where kindness was valued above all else. The animals looked out for one another, always ready to lend a helping hand, or paw, or wing, whenever it was needed. As for Marco, he continued to explore the jungle, always on the lookout for new adventures and new friends to help. He knew that his small act of kindness had started something wonderful, and he was happy to see the jungle flourish with goodwill and compassion. Moral of the story: kindness is a powerful force that can make the world a better place.